Orada dediğim gibi derste katkılarınızı bekliyorum. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Architectural History 434, Architect Sinan and his age lecture. As you all know, after the midterm exam, we will conduct our lectures online because we will be using a timeline travel mobile application. And when you are online, when you are listening to this lecture, please also make sure that you are using the Timeline Travel mobile app. So I ask you kindly to open this app. First of all, Timeline Travel mobile app on your smartphones or on your tablets. And you are also welcome to open the application on your computers. For instance, I am using a Mac, and it is possible to download the app from App Store on the Mac. So probably it is also possible to download it from the Google Play Store on your PC. So now please take a minute to download the application if you haven't done so yet. Okay, in this first lecture, I will give you a brief insight about the usage of the Timeline Travel application, Timeline Travel app. But before that, I would like to give you an insight about how we developed this app and how you can benefit from the opportunities that this tiny application offers you. Actually, everything started with these timelines that you see in my background, in my on the walls of my office, and there are also others, and there are even more of them which are on the paper, and even more on my notebooks, because I learn history and architecture by drawing timelines. I mean, it is, at least to me, much more sustainable. I remember it better, and I also see the big picture. When I see the big picture, I can go into details more easily. So that was very helpful for me. And I thought that why shouldn't I use this as a digital tool for my architectural history courses? And I turned this idea into a project, and I applied for European Union's Erasmus Plus funds in 2017. And our project was funded, and it lasted for 2 years. It completed in 2019, back in Gaziantep University, my previous institution. And this was an international project, and we had 3 partners. Apart from Gaziantep University, we had Yeditepe University from Istanbul, Bologna University from Italy, and AHEP'te from Poland. So we were a team, a collaborative team, to create both the Timeline Travel tool, Timeline Travel e-learning platform, and the contents of this tool. So if you simply type timelinetravel.net on your browsers, you will see both the tool and the e-learning platform. Actually, I have already recommended you to use the e-learning platform, and it is very actually helpful for your for this course also. Anyway, after the completion of the project in 2019, I thought that that would be better to make an update in this project. And I thought that it would be more helpful to create a mobile app. So with my own efforts, actually, so because it was after the completion of the project, so with my own efforts and with my electronics engineering background, I approached to a computer engineering team, let me say, a software developer. Its name is Brand Wolf, located in Istanbul, and we collaborated to develop this app. That's why when you see it on the App Store or Google Play Store, it has the subtitle prepared by Muzaffer Özgüleş. So it is my really own effort, but of course the content is not all mine. That's impossible. Actually, the content that you see in the app, the start ones, are taken from the Timeline Travel project web page. So we have used the already available timelines that we have prepared throughout the project duration, and the design is not done by me. The design is from the University of Bologna. I should also give the credit to them, but the idea and the efforts and the coordination is conducted by me, and I am still paying from my own budget the yearly fee of the App Store license, you know. But it's my pleasure to have a tool like this and to use this tool with my students, and I hope that will be helpful for you, and I hope that will help you to embrace, help you to love, help you to enjoy architectural history. So that's why we are now using this tool in this course. Okay, let's now open. Do you have any questions, by the way? Thank you, Birsan. Okay, I have already marked you as here. Muammer is also here, right? Okay. So let me take a snapshot of the screenshot of the participants because it is needed. Okay. If you don't have any questions, I'd better continue with. Okay, Gülsen is also here. I saw Gülsen. If you don't have anything to ask, then I will share my screen with you. And continue the rest of the lecture from there. Okay, I think you can now see my screen, right? Okay. When you download the app, you will have two options. You can either start using it or you can create an account. And I highly recommend you to create this account to have more options. You will be able to have more options. First of all, I think you can see it here. By clicking on this button, you can change the language to Turkish or to English. Okay, so I now change it to English. So it opens with this sentence: choose a timeline to discover or log in to create your own timeline. If you want to browse the currently available timelines, you don't need to log in. But in order to log in, you need to click on this and type your email and password here, and then click login simply. And if you don't have an account yet, you need to register. It is up to you, and I will give you a minute to do so. So now I will come back to this screen again. And here you see the list of buildings, list of timelines. These are, as I said, prepared during the project, timeline travel project, and it has like Ottoman Istanbul, Byzantine Constantinople, Byzantine emperors, Ottoman Bosphorus, Bursa, public buildings of Republic period in Gaziantep, Ravenna. These are all start timelines. So which means that means all of these timelines were edited. So an editor, these were us, basically the researchers or the partners, team members of the project. So these are trusted timelines. So you can consult them. You can use them with a peace of mind, let me say. But there are also other timelines. When you scroll down, you will see the timelines still in Alanya, Second Generation Architectural Movement, Art Deco buildings, blah, blah, and there are others. So these are the timelines, not these last two. I forgot them to give the stars. I will do as soon as possible. But the other timelines are created by my students again. So before I came here to AHEP, I was at Gaziantep University, and I already started using this mobile app there in my last year, in 2020-2021 academic year. So actually there are more, not only these, there are more timelines, but for the sake of this course, since you will be preparing new timelines related with architect Sinan and his age, I have temporarily removed them from this screen. So you may find in 6 weeks' time, you may find more timelines here. And let's open one of them by clicking on or tapping on your screen. You can open it, and on the screen, as you see, the top side is the map, and the bottom part is the timeline. So it is basically a time and space, how can I say, traveler. Let's click on this button. Can you see this button, this tiny bold triangle or arrow? This will take you to the beginning of the timeline. So we are back to 1447, which is 5 years before the first building, first appearance. This is given as default. So it will take you beginning of your timeline. If you click on this one, it will take you to the end of the timeline. If you click on this, it will take you the previous structure. Click on this, it will take you to the next one. So it's quite straightforward. And let's first to discover this part. This project and this mobile application, similarly, has the idea of that. What if we can see the elements, let's say, not necessarily the buildings, elements of a city on a moving timeline, and how would appear, how would look to look if we move the time forward like this. So as you can see, as time goes forward, you can see the additional new structures to the topography of the city. And you can also see there are some blank points, huge gaps in time where there are less building activities. And there are also some parts in history where we can see more building activities. So I thought that would be helpful to make some analysis. And actually, at the end of your project, as you know, you will be preparing a final project. And at the end of your project, I will also ask you to make your own analysis. So you would, I don't know, let's take, any question? Sormak istediğiniz bir şey varsa sorabilirsiniz arkadaşlar. Herhalde yok. Yanlışlıkla bir ses geldi. Peki, when you prepare your timelines, you should, let's say, it's the timeline of architect Sinan's buildings in Istanbul, let's say. I will also ask you to make your own analysis. For instance, ask the questions and search for the answers. Why there are less buildings here, you may say? Why there are no buildings at all on the Anatolian side, for instance? Or why we have such big gaps? For instance, there is a 50 years of gap between these time intervals, blah, blah. Okay? So this is, this application also helps you to make those analyses. By the way, let me continue with the buttons here. This button makes this timeline, add this timeline to your favorites. And this button gives you more info about the timeline itself. So when you prepare your timelines, you will also need to fill this area. You'll say, like, as I said, architect Sinan's buildings in Istanbul, and this timeline was prepared by, let's say, Şevval Yalnız from AHEP architecture department. And you are also expected to list your references, list your sources, okay? Burayı bir de Türkçe söyleyeyim isterseniz. Bakın bu düğmeye bastığımda, şu i düğmesine bastığımda hangi timeline'ın içindeysek, mesela şu anda Ottoman İstanbul timeline'ın içindeyiz. O timeline'a dair bilgilerin girildiği pencere açılıyor ve siz de işte diyelim ki Şevval buraya Osmanlı İstanbul'daki Mimar Sinan yapıları diye bir timeline hazırladı ve burada da açıklamasında bu zaman dizin Şevval Yalnız tarafından işte AHEP Üniversitesi Mimarlık bölümü işte ARCH434 dersi kapsamında hazırlanmıştır diye bir not düşecek ve kaynaklarınızı da yine burada vereceksiniz. Yani bu projeyi hazırlarken, yaparken hangi kaynaklardan yararlandınız? Onları oraya bir liste halinde dökeceksiniz. Okay, after these buttons, I like to show you this small arrow here. It will make timeline full page. If you click it again, it will make the map full page. And if you click again, it will take the previous look. These three buttons, of course, these are zoom out and zoom in buttons. The same buttons are also here. You can also scroll with your fingers here, and you can change the map view. And this button is also very helpful. If you click on this, the names have disappeared, the labels have disappeared. If you click again, only the labels are appearing, but the photos are moved. If you click again, you will see this view. So it will actually kind of a film script, or nasıl desem İngilizce'de bilemedim ama bir film şeridi gibi gözünüzün önünden yapıların geçmesini istiyorsanız o zaman da bu düğmeye basıyorsunuz diyeyim. So you can open this button if you want to see the buildings move one by one in front of your eyes, okay? And if you make this full page, maybe it will give you more insight, okay? Anyway, so if you click it again, you will turn back to the previous view. And if you click on the buildings, you'll see that the information windows will appear. So you can move in photos, you can see plans, you can, if you scroll down, have a brief info, and for some buildings there is also detailed info. Look at these areas, these fields, the district, city, building type, construction start and end dates, repair dates, patterns, style, period. There are many details, and these are actually quite helpful if you use this search option here. Can you see that option? Okay, I'll do it for you. For instance, you can search the buildings of architect Sinan. Or you can even refine your search. For instance, give more details, like building type could be only, say, soup kitchens, huh? And press the search button. So actually there are no buildings, soup kitchens, sorry, built by Sinan. So I will make the search again. Yeah. So these are the buildings of architect Sinan on the given period, on the given timeline. But let me remind you one thing. This project and these timelines do not promise to give all buildings in the city or all buildings by an architect. So that's one reason to have gaps on the timeline, okay? But since this was an educational application, we have only selected the most significant buildings and included them into our timelines, into our building list, okay? So keep that in mind. The other button here, by the way, let me show the areas again, and let me highlight this. By the way, I need to delete this in order not to have architects buildings only. And I will click on periods or building type or start periods, and this will colorize the buildings on the map. Let's see. Can you see that? So the different colors are representing different type of buildings. For instance, the green color here is the Topkapı Palace, so it's a palace, while these are mosques and complexes, gray and yellow and orange ones. And there are also other type of buildings. You can see the legend here. So which color means what? You can see it here. Anyway, I have removed my filters, and I would like to show you another important tool here. This plus button enables you to add another timeline parallel to the present one. So I opened Ottoman Sultans plus Ottoman Istanbul. I mean the buildings in Ottoman Istanbul plus the Ottoman Sultans, and let me make it the double page. So as you can see the timeline of the Ottoman Sultans on top and timeline of Ottoman buildings in Istanbul. Of course, it will start with Fatih Mehmet II, and you can make more analysis by using this double timeline option. Okay, so I close it and go back to Ottoman Istanbul as we start. And this is actually giving you the chance to make comments and offer new structures to the editor. Since we are out of time, now I would like to ask you, just for fun, to create your own timelines until next week, okay? We will continue in the next lecture. But before coming to that, let's see your timelines. Let's prepare your own timelines for your own personal use. I wouldn't see them. You could prepare the places I visited. You could prepare the books I read.